It's Blue Diamond Truck Accessories in Panama City. They sell, service, and install it all. Light kits, bed covers, bumpers, winches, lift kits, and any trailer hitch you can imagine. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, just west of Frankfurt Avenue on 15th Street. Find Blue Diamond Truck Accessories on Facebook or call 850-914-0265. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, 850-914-0265.
Looking for the most romantic night out in Panama City? Ferrucci Ristorante is your destination for authentic Italian cuisine and unforgettable moments. The candlelight, the wine, the homemade pasta. It's like a little slice of Italy. From handcrafted sauces to centuries-old recipes, Ferrucci brings true Italian flavor to every plate. It's where love stories begin and anniversaries are celebrated. To reserve your table, call 850-913-9131. Ferrucci Ristorante, Panama City's most romantic escape.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Gator Boys are back.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
And ready to defend their national title.
The rack, layup, good and one. Top of the rim. Alley-oop dunk, smashed down by Condon. Oh, yes, sir. It's the foul line extended. Rises for three. Bang, he got it to the rack. Dumps it with two hands.
Or your home for Florida basketball.
Gators, Gamecocks tonight. Tip-off at 6 on 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Survive the workday. Now survive the truth.
Don't you want to have the best 12 teams in college football playing each other?
It's time for the hardest hitting 2 hours on the Panhandle.
I love it. You're coming through. You got it, baby.
Now into the huddle with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz.
It is a joyous day. I love your show.
From the Emerald Coast to the edge of the atmosphere.
You gentlemen lift us up every day.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You know what time it is. It's time for the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your spot for college basketball right here in the Panhandle. And don't forget tonight, right after the show, tip-off, the Florida Gators versus the South Carolina Gamecocks right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad to have you joined in with us today. Don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290, the Red 7Ts phone line. The Red 7Ts custom apparel right here in the Panhandle. As always, on a Tuesday, I'm pumped up and ready to go with Jeffrey in the building. Jeffrey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. The weather wasn't too bad. Actually, I had a little chill in the air, which is kind of weird because it got a little warm and then it got a little chill in the air. And I don't know. I mean, I should not even be talking about the weather. I should be talking about sports.
That's what you should be. That's what we hired you to do, is talk about sports. We didn't hire you to be a meteorologist.
I thought y'all had a sign out that said, just come on in.
No. We got to be very careful when it comes to that. But either way, you know.
Yeah, we let Gator fans in. No, I'm just joking.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Not only did you take their coach, now you're messing with them. That's not really
I didn't take their coach. Their coach never really wanted to go there anyway. Oh, no.
I think he did. Had LSU
no, he's trolling the whole time.
Listen,
months of it.
Let me ask you that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good to see Bone Crusher here as well. Good to see you, man.
Georgia didn't want him. Right?
No.
Bulldogs didn't want him.
No, you keeping Kirby for sure.
Yeah, Kirby's there.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
They're good. Let me ask you this, though.
Mm-hmm.
Had LSU not gotten in, the talk, because the whole time,
yeah.
The whole time I was saying I wouldn't give up my firstborn, but I would definitely pretty
you were
confident that
shoving
Lane
your chips in.
Yes, Lane Kiffin was going. I was all in.
Your wife was who are you betting this money on? Thank God you didn't bet it.
Why is our savings account at zero?
Yes.
Yeah, I really thought, you know what I mean? I thought he was going, and then boom, LSU got in the game, and that was like, hold on. But let's go back. Do you believe Lane Kiffin would have went to Florida had LSU not fired Brian Kelly and got in?
I was saying no.
You think
I was saying no the whole time, pretty much. I mean, there were some times where I'm like, these guys convinced me. Nah, I don't think he's leaving Ole Miss. And there's a lot of, lore about it, It'll be a documentary 20 years from now. No, seriously, Lane Kiffin will come out in less than 20 years, and they'll have a documentary on the whole back story of the trolling and everything, and how the timeline happened and how everything went down. And people within Ole Miss that were like, nah, man, we don't like you trolling like this. You're kind of making us uneasy.
Because they were nervous.
Guess what? He left town. So.
Yeah. Do you think we'll make the cut? Do you think we'll be on there?
No.
Oh, man, I was hoping.
No.
Because we did cover it a lot. I mean, we spoke about it almost every day of college football season until he did it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a big story. It was a big deal. People wanted to know. I mean, that was a big deal of the 2025 college football season.
Yeah.
I do think so. I do. I honestly think that the Florida Gators were going to hire Lane Kiffin until LSU got in the bump. And when they got in, I felt like it changed. I felt like now Florida had an opportunity to I don't know how you would say it, more or less that Florida was like, oh, no, we're going to have to get in a bidding war. Oh, no, we're going to have to compete with LSU. Oh, no, we're going to have to compete with all of the lure and the glamour of LSU.
Okay, let's replay a little bit also. If he stays at Ole Miss, LSU doesn't get into the whole mix of everything. Do they lose to the Miami Hurricanes in the semifinals, just like what happened with Golding?
Ooh, I don't know.
See, that's the question.
I don't know.
That's the what ifs.
The thing that everybody is going to say is that they lost with Kiffin as the head football coach earlier in the year to Georgia, but Golden beat Georgia in the playoff. So I think that's what people are looking at, like an Ole Miss fan. And we are going to have Steve Barnes on today at 4:20. We can ask him.
But didn't Ole Miss beat Georgia last year in the regular season? Oh, they did.
They did. So he was 1-1 on that in the last 2 years.
He's 1-1 in the 2 years.
Yeah.
With the same quarterback? No, different quarterback.
No, he had Jackson Dart at that time.
Jackson Dart.
So
who's actually turned out pretty well at the Giants.
To be determined.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, too many concussions early on for me. I'm sorry.
The concussions that hurt.
Yeah, he had 4.
Yeah, but he was playing great.
But then there was 3 chances, 3 other times that he actually went to the tent, and they said no. But really, did he have one or not?
Take it from a person who's seen him twice in person. I've seen him twice in person. I went to Ole Miss and seen two different games, and he was like 2 different people,
Yeah.
So, he's got potential. And the second time was the time where he showed up.
Brian Daboll really loved him, and that's why they drafted him. I mean, that's why the Giants went all in on him.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get it done. And obviously they had him going out with concussions and Scatterboo going out with the injury of breaking his leg.
So did it surprise you yesterday? Yesterday we talked about, I mentioned it, 4 teams that are in the last place this last past year in the NFL, and the Giants were one of those 4 teams that could crawl out of the last place.
Oh, they're going to crawl out for sure.
Ooh.
With John Harbaugh at the helm, I believe for sure, without a doubt.
But in the first year?
Yes. So did Mike
So is it Commanders or Cowboys?
Probably the Commanders, because I think they're going to be reeling. I don't think
39th.
Yeah, that's true. But really, when you look at it, is Jaden Daniels going to be able to be healthy? That's the biggest question. I know we talked about it in a little bit of a depth yesterday, but realistically, when you look at how they played last year without him at the helm. I mean, Marcus Mariota, as good as he's been, he's been pretty good at times.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been up and down. I mean, I'm not saying Marcus Mariota should be a starter in the NFL, but he wasn't terrible. And I mean, he was a serviceable backup.
Yeah.
But it was like once Jaden Daniels went down, then he came back. He wasn't the same though, because he still was. I think they rushed him.
Was
back.
the team around him maybe let down by the whole Jaden not being there.
They were, yes.
Because they were psyched up for this season, and it didn't happen.
And we had talked about it. Terry McLaurin from Ohio State was a late signer. They got him in the building late, and then they added Deebo Samuel. They thought maybe Deebo.
Yeah, and I love Deebo at the 49ers.
Yep, and nothing more.
And I'm not a 49ers fan, but as far as the person goes, yes. And then, now we're looking at all these wide receivers, like Tyreek Hill, and you're wondering, sometimes when a person leaves the team that they had been with for a while and they go somewhere else, they aren't the same, but it's also they probably aged out.
Yeah. Well, Tyreek Hill also said that he wants to go somewhere that he's going to be able to compete for a championship, like the Kansas City Chiefs.
I thought you were about to say like the Dolphins.
No.
That wasn't happening.
No, I mean, that's where he went. I think he went there for money. I think he went there for the money. I think he made the money, and he felt like maybe it was just time for him to get a new chance to be a number one.
Well, if I were given the offer, hey, you want to live in Kansas City or Miami, you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, but they don't look at it that way, because if that was the case, nobody would go to Buffalo, nobody would go to the Patriots, because it's pretty miserable up there in the wintertime.
Yeah, I'm a Southerner, and I cannot live back up north again. Yeah. And the furthest north I would ever live, and I've already lived there, is Northern Virginia.
Yeah, no thanks.
And that's still considered the South.
So let me ask you this, getting back to, when we were talking about with Lane Kiffin and then Ole Miss and then now LSU, what do you think his turnaround is going to be? Do you think LSU immediately is going to be competing for an SEC championship? Do you think there's a chance year one that they're able to crack the armor of getting into the playoff? Or are you, as an LSU fan, are you just being low so that it you know what I mean? Are you trying to come in lowballing, hoping that it'll succeed what you're saying?
I've probably been lowballing for 3 years straight then. Because no, really, I thought 10-2 and then 9-3, and then I guess 9-3 this past year, and now I'm saying 9-3 for next year. But part of the reason is this schedule is tough.
Yeah,
and let me tell you how it's going to change over the following year, because we got A&M and Ole Miss every year. Okay, so we know that's going to happen every year. But between Texas, Alabama, and Tennessee, and I know it's an at Tennessee type thing, they won't be on the schedule the following year. It'll be a replacement by Georgia, and that's it. The schedule will get easier. So 9-3 this year is a realistic expectation. Some people might say they're only going to go 7-5 with that hard schedule. But the following year is where I'm going to say we're going to be competing for SEC championship.
That's saying, though, that you believe that A&M is going to be what they were last year. They were a big surprise.
Well, A&M, you play them every year, so it don't matter. There's no difference there. It's you're dropping the Longhorns, Bama, and Tennessee off your schedule, and you're replacing them with Georgia.
So you're saying those three are the only opportunities for LSU to lose?
Well, no. I'm saying other than playing Texas A&M and Ole Miss every year, you're going to be playing Texas, Tennessee, and Alabama this year.
Yeah, no,
later on this year.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So that's 5 games you could lose right there if I just named them, right? You're going to be dropping 3 of those teams off the following 2027 schedule
just to add LSU,
just to add Georgia.
Right? And that's it does that would be easier. But let me ask you this: the 9-3. You're saying 9-3 next year. We'll lose the 3 losses, though.
I think we're going to beat Ole Miss.
Okay,
at their own house.
Yeah, Oxford.
Yeah, I think that. It's hard. I think they're going to want the revenge on A&M. Yeah. I guess I'd have to say it's A&M. But the thing is, it's every given Saturday, right? Any given Saturday. We could probably lose to A&M, and who knows, we could beat Bama. It could happen.
Okay.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a little scared of late in the season already having 2 or 3 losses underneath the belt, and then you have to go at Tennessee in middle of November after you already played Bama.
So what is the most encouraging thing about having Lane Kiffin, though? To me, it would be that he knows how to beat specific teams that he's already played against.
Yeah, game plan. quite a bit of preparation, and also he attracts talent, and that's the reason why we're winning in the transfer portal, because people want to go play for a winner, and you know how it is because Saban was doing it for 2 decades.
Yeah, and that's true. I just wonder if he's learned how to beat these guys. I think the mind games of the week of Ole Miss during the week, I think he's going to troll. I think he's going to be all on that. I think he's going to do all the things.
Well, that's going to motivate Ole Miss, and if they got enough horses, it's going to be a game, and it's at Ole Miss.
I just wonder if Ole Miss is going to be anything like they were last year, or if they're going to take a step back.
They're going to take a step back.
Because of why?
Well, they were 11-1, and then they went 2-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
13-2. You want me to take a step up from that? It ain't happening. They've never won 13 games in a year.
No,
ever.
No,
I don't think
you don't trust Pete Golden either, right?
Yeah, I don't trust him and his game plan and his game management and everything. Not everything, but I just think that he's an average SEC coach. An average. Out of all the coaches that we have right now in the pool, he's average.
Yeah, and that's they would not say that, and like I said, we're going to have Steve Barnes on here at 4:20, and I'm sure we're going to have some of this conversation with him. But going forward, with that being said, Trinidad Chambliss, does that add a 2 or 3 or 4 game wins more than what you thought coming in? Because you were thinking more of because they're
Simmons is Missouri.
Yeah, Simmons in Missouri. They got Deuce Knight coming over from
Not
Auburn.
worried about him.
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, unfortunately,
if he was third string at Auburn and Auburn's a 5-17, I'm sorry.
I don't know if he was a third string or if he was.
He was a third string.
They were trying to hold his. I think they had more plans for him. Yeah, okay. I think they were promising him the moon and the stars once Jackson Arnold was out, and I don't think they wanted to burn him for the year against having.
Throw him to the dogs.
Yeah,
at the very beginning, and then you're scarred for life because then you think that somebody's going to run and tackle you and blitz you and kill you.
I think Ashford was the safer choice, and that's why he left as well.
Yeah.
But obviously, with Golish coming in, Byron Brown is going to be their starter.
These guys not only running for their life, they're running out of the door of the university.
Yeah, they both left. Yeah, I mean, you got Jackson Arnold going to UNLV.
Yeah.
You got Deuce Knight going to Ole Miss. And now you got Byron Brown coming over from USF. So that's going to be interesting. And we're going to have Coach Golish on, sometime in the spring. So we're on the list to get him in. So that's going to be cool. And we'll be able to ask him all these questions. What happened and why they left and what was the conversations with the quarterbacks that were there on site at the University of Auburn.
Yeah, and we'll see how much
I said University of Auburn, but it's Auburn University.
Yeah, Auburn University.
But... So, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, we only have about 5 minutes before we go to our next break. But I wanted to say that with all of the college football kind of in that resting period, that is the question about A&M. That's been the big question mark that everybody's got, that nobody really is giving A&M any respect. They're not respecting them for what they had last year. Now, you say, if I ask you what happened, don't forget, they hosted Miami, and the score was basically field goals. And I know the wind was blowing. I know that was a part of it. But still, that game was tough. That game was in the trenches. And you've got your returning quarterback. Marcel Reed is coming back to South Carolina. And nobody is giving them a shot at winning the SEC. Nobody's mentioning them anymore. Well, everybody's kind of wrote them off a little bit.
The schedule was like a last-place schedule.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the biggest part of why everybody just didn't think they were that good.
Everybody's brushing off the 11-0 start because they lost 2 in a row, is what happened.
But they ran to the fourth quarter. They played Miami as close as anybody.
Yeah, 10-3.
So, I mean, they just could not put any... I was going to say put any runs on the board, but they couldn't score. They couldn't score touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest part of it all.
After scoring 45 on LSU.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that Notre Dame was better than Texas A&M, even though they lost to Notre Dame, or Texas A&M beat Notre Dame early on the season?
No, because I think that it would have been I think there was a potential for Notre Dame to win, but not even 4 out of 10 times.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See, I disagree with you. I think,
You think Notre Dame should have been in?
I think Notre Dame was the better team. Yes, I do. Actually, I thought they got better during the year. I think A&M was a product of their easier schedule, and I do think Notre Dame was the better team. I think they would have probably scored more points, and I think they had the experience to be able to come in and possibly beat Miami. That would have been a game for the ages to me.
That wasn't the question, because they were a 7 seed.
Right.
So we had an 8, a 9, and a 10, and those teams were Alabama, who definitely deserved to be in, obviously.
I think so.
Oklahoma, who's self-destructed.
But I thought they deserved it.
And a Miami team that made the national championship.
I believe they deserved it.
So we can't even say, oh, maybe we should have done this, because guess what? It was Miami was the team that should have been. Basically, the whole conversation was, is it Miami or is it Notre Dame? It was never discussed that it was A&M. Somebody threw in Alabama in the mix because of the SEC championship only.
But it also was the Notre Dame people who were just grabbing for something to latch on to at the end. So we'll grab whoever can that's close.
Is it Miami? Oh, yeah. Oh, we lost to them. Oh, wait.
Is it Alabama?
Oh, is it Alabama?
Right.
Yeah, okay. We should be in instead of them. And they're playing.
And then they even, brought up the Tulane and they brought up the JMU and just like we would crush them, we would beat them. And I believe they would. I believe they would have. But they're going to fix it.
Oh, yeah. Notre Dame's going to fix it. They're going to drop USC and replace them with BYU.
Yeah, and they fixed it for themselves. As long as they're ranked in the top 12, they're automatically
as long as they're 11-1, because that's what's going to happen. Right. They're going to go 11-1. They're going to be number 5 or 6, and they're like, oh, we're definitely in because we're the 5 and 6 seed.
Yeah.
And there's no, 9 or 10 seed to even be worried about slipping out.
Do you think USC should have dropped them, though, either way, because of how tough the Big Ten is getting now that you've had added Indiana into the mix? You've already got Ohio State. You really don't know what Michigan's going to do. You really don't know what Penn State's going to do. You know Oregon's going to be Oregon. So realistically, I would have dropped Notre Dame too if I was USC, because that really doesn't do anything for you, because if you don't win the games in your conference, you're not going to be in the playoffs anyway.
I have a problem with Big Ten scheduling, and we'll go over that another time, but whoever's doing the scheduling is on drugs.
Well, they do it to benefit the teams that they want to get to the playoff.
Apparently, because there's no rhyme to the reason.
No.
The NFL has a set way that they do the scheduling. The SEC alternates other than your 3 rivals. Yeah, guarantees. The Big Ten does not do that. They do not practice that. You're not guaranteed that you will play every team in the Big Ten every 2 years.
Right.
So the rotation is completely off. We don't even know. They could be playing Michigan and Ohio State one year, and then next year played neither of them, or go 2 years in a row without playing them, because there's no rotation. I tried looking for the pattern. There is none.
Yeah.
But they will try and keep them on the West Coast, still playing Washington, Oregon, and UCLA.
And those teams, Oregon's
there.
It.
Washington's,
they've kind of they're the Missouri of the SEC.
They're lurking and overachieving.
Yeah, and they'll win a game that you don't expect them to win, and then they'll lose the game that you expect, but it'd be close.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll be leading into the fourth quarter. So, but either way, we're going to go ahead and take our next break. When we come back, we've got to talk to Steve Barnes about some of the things going on over at Ole Miss. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 7T Studio Line. Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The last time Florida and South Carolina played, it was a blowout. The Gators won 95-48, and the rematch is tonight. We'll have tip-off coming up at 6 from Gainesville, right here on your home for college basketball on the Gulf Coast.
And it goes in at the buzzer!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Tuesday's weather. The remainder of the day, there will be a gentle breeze out of the south, mostly sunshine and 69. Slight fog tonight, slightly colder at 58. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high of 72. About the same at 73 Thursday, and we'll have some clouds throughout the day with a slight chance of sprinkles in the evening. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Coin and Bullion Reserves is now Coin and Bullion Reserves Fine Jewelry, a new name that reflects what we do best, fine jewelry and diamonds. Same trusted service for over 50 years. Coin and Bullion Reserves Fine Jewelry at 15th Street and East Avenue. Coin and Bullion Reserves is now Coin and Bullion Reserves Fine Jewelry, a new name that reflects what we do best, fine jewelry and diamonds. Same trusted service for over 50 years. Coin and Bullion Reserves Fine Jewelry at 15th Street and East Avenue.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design, build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered. Literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida gets results. Here's Brandon Strickland from Recommended Collision Center, Jinx Avenue in Panama City.
At Recommended Collision Center, we're all about taking care of our community, and advertising on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has helped us do just that. Social media ads were getting stale, but the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson gave us a fresh way to reach local customers. We've seen more vehicles coming in for estimates, more phone calls, and more people recognizing our name. It's been a great partnership for our business, pairing up with 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
To see how 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida can help grow your business, go to ESPNPC.com and click the contact button. Get your message heard and cut through the clutter. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the contact button.
Eat, sleep, game. This is your sports obsession. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Sports Blitz.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, tonight, Gator basketball versus South Carolina. 6 o'clock is the tip-off right after the show. Going to hear those Gators win again because South Carolina is ranked in the bottom of the SEC. But either way, got Jeffrey here. If you want to be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290. We are on the phone line now with our friend of the show from the rebelwalk.com. We've got Steve Barnes on the line. Steve, how you doing today, my friend?
Happy Mardi Gras, guys.
Yes, happy Fat Tuesday.
Oh, it was a fat weekend, trust me. My roommate bought a house over in Fort Walton Beach, but her realty company over here had like VIP tickets for us to go to the parade Friday night in Pensacola with a free food tent, open bar, nice seating at the parade. And then Saturday, the Ole Miss Club had their, they called it a Mardi Gras watch party. But what it was is one of the members owns a architecture firm right on Palafox, the main drag. And next door is where he lives in like a brownstone. They had a big thing where we were out in their courtyard and they just walked out the front door. We're on the parade route and got the coolest beads ever. Red and blue with a Colonel Rebel bobblehead on them.
Oh man, was Pete Golden
coolest. I got some in New Orleans one year that a friend brought from Biloxi. They had working slot machines and roulette wheels on them.
Oh, wow.
Those were cool beats.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So was there a Pete Golden sighting? Was he on a float or was he around or he had a beer in his hand?
He's not down here in Pensacola, but I tell you what, weather was nice.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the first time I've ever gotten a sunburn at a Mardi Gras parade.
Yeah, well, Mobile is the home of Mardi Gras, and
birthplace of Mardi Gras.
And Jeffrey, he doesn't like to hear that, but on Fat Tuesday, we have to definitely say it.
It doesn't bother me,
You gave me the frown. He gave me the frown.
No.
When I worked with the Bay Bears, we had the AA All-Star game in Mobile, and ESPN sent down a couple guys to do the game, broadcast it, and go to lunch with us, and we're told, this is the birthplace of Mardi Gras. Mm-hmm. And AJ, golly, it was Adam Jernigan. AJ, he was with me, and he's from Mobile, I'm from Pensacola, and the guy's like, no, it's New Orleans. And OJ says, it's Mobile. And I finally looked at him and said, hey, Mobile is the birthplace of Mardi Gras. New Orleans perfected it.
That's true.
That's probably true. No, it just depends what type of a person or what stage of life you're in. Because, I mean, if you want a family atmosphere, I'm not selling you on Metairie because it's probably Mobile over Metairie. But New Orleans is, got a lot of debauchery going on. Let's be honest.
That is true. That's very
They'll
true.
drink them under the table every year.
I'm thinking this Jeff could knock me over with a feather now. New Orleans has debauchery? Really?
Yeah, no
I never knew that.
doubt.
Well, they had Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was riding.
Yeah, they had him on a float.
That's where they invented the to-go cup. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
That's very true. Let me ask
you. Then again, after all that fun, I had to get back to reality today, talk to some more legal Eagles. I don't know how many lawyers and judges and agents I've talked to. All I know is I have come up with more questions to them than they have answers for me. It's trying to keep these kids from transferring so easily. And the two questions I had, and I think they're pretty straightforward. The first one, revenue sharing. If the kid signs the revenue sharing agreement, there's a buyout in it, but that's, pretty easy. Why not make the value of the revenue share the buyout? And somebody came up with the thing today, an entertainment lawyer out of Miami. She said, well, the portal's closed. Yeah, but the loophole's not. In May, I think you're going to see a lot of kids basically withdraw from school and go enroll somewhere else.
Yeah, see, now I believe that. And let me ask you this. What do you think about Deuce Knight? Now that we know that Trinidad Chambliss is in the building, what is going on with Deuce? Do you think he's going to be one of those guys? Because he obviously leaves Auburn because he knows that Golish is brought over Byron Brown. And obviously Pete Golden, this was fire protection. I would look at it as that he was bringing him in because of losing Austin Simmons. So now you got Trinidad coming back. Obviously, he's going to be the starter. There's no possibility that unless they're, fourth quarter snaps is all that Deuce Knight's going to get. So, I mean, is he one of those guys that's looking to go somewhere else?
I think he knows that in the next 2 years, it's his team. But then again, this time last year, I said the same thing about Austin Simmons.
True. You did. I remember we had that conversation. Even after the second game that Trinidad had come in, you still said this was Austin Simmons' team. I remember.
So, I mean, I was wrong last year. I mean, I'm smart enough to know I don't know everything.
No, we don't. None of us do. But do you think there's a chance?
A lot of people who write to me think they know everything. So
yeah. Do you think there's a chance, though, that he leaves? Or do you think he buys in?
There's a chance. Somebody's going to need a quarterback, and they're going to offer him the moon. And that's why I think that rev share thing, I think there's a way to hold kids to it. And like I said, about half the lawyers agree with me. Half of them say they don't know. So it's like, somebody look into this, please. When I was in high school, my father died when I was 12, so I was getting his Social Security death benefits. And my senior year, Ronald Reagan, who was then president, said, well, unless you're a full-time college student by April 1st, 1982, we're cutting them off. Well, I wasn't going to graduate to June 1st. So what I had to do, my last semester in high school, I took 12 hours at Pensacola Junior College, now it's Pensacola State, had 3 classes at Tate High School, then went to baseball practice. Now, that seems like a lot, but you got to remember, the end of the semester in college is in April.
April, yep, that's true.
So my last month or so, my first class wasn't until 12. I love that. But I went there that spring, took the summer off, went there the fall and the next spring, and then I went to the records office and said, I'm going to transfer. I need you to send my transcripts to Ole Miss. And the lady's like, oh, you're only like 14 hours away from graduating from here. I'm like, I'm going to an SEC school. I'm not going after football season. I'm going before. I'm going to be there for it.
Yeah.
And she pulled me up on the computer and said, well, I'm sorry, I can't send your transcripts because you have a $5 parking ticket on campus.
Oh, man.
So I had to go to the employees, get my $5 bill, get the receipt, came back, and then she did it. Why can't you put a clause in the revenue sharing saying you owe us this money if you break this contract? And the kid's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And, well, I'm just going to withdraw from school, and I'm going to go to school B. Okay? It's in the contract that you owe us this if you don't play here. You owe it to the school, so we're not going to release your transcripts. And if we don't release your transcripts, you can't enroll. If you can't enroll, you can't play, and you can't get NIL, and you can't get a revenue sharing deal.
And you know what some of these schools will probably do to adjust to that? Oh, we don't need your transcripts, so we'll take your word on it. And that's sad, but that's true.
Wow, I've never heard of anybody doing that, but I bet it gets done.
They don't take ACT scores now at a lot of these schools. That's crazy. The times have changed for sure.
Well, the thing I think this is going to help curtail is the kid. He doesn't have $1 million to pay the school. He's got to go to school B and say, look, I need you to pay them $1 million or I can't come here and enroll. Now, the kid probably did not leave school A, where he's making $1 million, to go to school B for $1 million. He probably, was going to get $2 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now the school says, okay, we'll pay it, but it comes off your rev share. So now you're going to transfer for the same money. Or if the school's like, well, we'll have to pay that, then we'll go ahead and honor you. Is this kid worth $3 million a year? And you think it's not a year, it's for 12 games. That's all you're guaranteed. That's $333,333.33 per game. Now, some fans I've talked to said, well, if I'm in the SEC and this kid helps me beat Georgia and Alabama and Texas A&M and LSU and Ole Miss, he's worth it. Okay, is he worth it playing one quarter when you beat Monmouth?
Well, the other thing that you got to think about is that they've got to do this is going to have to go in court, and they're going to have to get some kind of precedent on it because this is the first time it's ever been done. So I'm just wondering if they'll come in and offer him, instead of saying, okay, well, you owe us $1 million, and that college comes in with their lawyers and say, oh, listen, we'll pay $500,000, you'll take it, or we'll just, we'll sue you for the transcripts, and then you're going to have all of this jargon going on with lawyers, and people are going to be going crazy.
That's when School A holds up the contract that gets signed.
Yeah,
that's what Washington did with their quarterback, and look how Miami paid off the Duke quarterback, Mensah.
Yeah. That is true, and that's the thing. Like, are they going to continue to pay him off? And if they do pay him off, there won't be a no way of being able to get our hands around it, or so to speak.
Well,
the
what
NCAA.
What I thought was, you maybe could put a non-compete clause in the rev share. But as many attorneys that I've talked to, and none of them charge me. Thank you, Bar Association. What they said was a revenue sharing agreement from the university to a student athlete. They're not an employee. An NIL deal now. Think about this. That kid signs an NIL deal with a private third entity. He is going to provide a service, and then he's going to be compensated for it. That, by definition, is employee. You can put a non-compete in that. And the example I came up with is University of Oregon. Phil Knight's their money man who owns Nike. Pretty much every kid at the University of Oregon has a Nike contract.
Mm-hmm.
They can put it in the NIL deal, a non-compete clause. You're being compensated for playing football at the University of Oregon and representing a shoe company. If you decide to transfer to another school, you can't sign an NIL for another shoe company. Not Adidas, not Nike, or anybody. That's going to stop some of those kids.
So they'll have to buy into duct tape because they'll have to put duct tape over the shoes that the kids are wearing because they can't show the logo anymore.
Wow.
I'm just waiting for more lawyers to call me back. Until then, I got some SEC baseball on right now. Arkansas State is down 2-1, I think, at Ole Miss. It's hard to read it. And Mississippi State is beating Troy 4-0 in the second.
Let me ask you this real quick. Me and Jeffrey were talking and before we called you today, and we had a little bit of a going back a little bit down the memory lane of this whole Lane Kiffin deal. Do you believe that had not LSU jumped into the fight for Lane Kiffin's services, do you believe he was leaning more to stay at Ole Miss or to go to Florida? Was Florida ever, because there's a lot of people, a lot of Florida fans, a lot of people have said that until LSU got in the hunt, that there was a good possibility Lane Kiffin was coming there. And I wanted to ask you that, being, your coverage of Ole Miss and all of that. When Ole Miss, and it was just Ole Miss and basically Florida was in the, the discussion, when LSU came in, that scared everybody, even Florida. Do you believe that he would have, if LSU never would have fired Brian Kelly, they'd have stayed one more year and then fired him next year? Do you think Lane Kiffin would have stayed at Ole Miss, or do you think he was going anyway somewhere?
I think he had his eyes open looking for something else. I mean, the longest he's ever been anywhere is at Ole Miss, and that was 6 years. He's always looking, where's some greener grass I can go to? I think he's always been like that. But if it was between LSU and Florida, I would have definitely picked LSU.
Yeah.
Simply because look at how Florida messed up the Rashada NIL thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to be in that kind of administration where they're going to do that. I want at least LSU gets it right. I'd rather be there. And plus, Florida's got to share the state of Florida with FSU and Miami and South Florida and UCF. I don't think LSU really shares with Tulane that much. They've got a fence around that state.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and with all the celebrities and just the whole, when Nick Saban said that he had talked to Lane Kiffin, I knew without a doubt he was going to LSU. There was just nothing in my mind that said anything different but LSU.
And, of course, that came from a guy who left LSU.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Terry Saban's behind it all.
Yeah, she is.
I heard something from, it might have been Walker Jones, the Grove Collective guy, said when Lane Kiffin, when Nick Saban left LSU, he had already built the organization.
Yeah.
All you had to do was plug somebody else in it. And it worked because Orgeron and Miles won national championships. Now, Kiffin has built that system at Ole Miss. Now you got to plug in, Golding. Who knows? Maybe it's the system and not the actual coach. Maybe that's what it is. But it's the coach's system that you build in and in your infrastructure.
Lane Kiffin is no Nick Saban.
No.
But he also, but he took his coordinators. That's the only thing. And I know Nick did too, but I don't know. It's going to be very clear. But we're up against the break. We appreciate you coming on. Yep, go ahead.
For the last 35 years, I've always had to write these stories about these kids who were just doing the wrong thing, and I always hated doing it. I got a piece of information today that I absolutely loved. There's a kid, her name is Isa Torres. She plays shortstop at Florida State on the softball team. She is really, really, really good to the point where she got a $1 million NIL deal.
Mm.
So she's from Texas, and I'm assuming her family's semi-well off because she did this. She was told you're getting $1 million, and she went to the administration and said, look, I've been driving around Tallahassee in the last few weeks, and I'm seeing people sleeping on sidewalks. I'm seeing them sleeping next to dumpsters. She donated the entire $1 million to build 150 apartments with 300 beds for the homeless in Tallahassee. And she's not even from there.
Wow.
That is a kid who was raised right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That was a great story. I'm glad. I'm proud of her.
Well, I'm proud of that. I'm not sure I'm proud about Sacramento State going to the MAC. Okay.
Oh, no, that's
goodness.
Right. You're right. But thank you so much, Steve. We appreciate you, my friend. I want you to have a great weekend, and I'm glad you got your Mardi Gras out of your system.
Well, I'm not having it that great. Arkansas State just took the lead over Ole Miss.
Oh well. All right, Steve. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time, my friend.
All right, love y'all like fried chicken.
All right, my friend. When we come back, we got Big Nate hanging on the line for us. We're going to talk to him and see what he's got for us today. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
Every team has the ability to do it. I hope all 30 teams can learn from that.
They are spending and acquiring every star out there. And what these guys are saying is, yeah, we like it because guys should get paid. And if you want to try to put up guardrails, we're not going to go for it. We are in big time favor of what the Dodgers are doing. And if baseball tries to switch this up, they're going to have a problem.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at Jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
Are you feeling tired, weak, or maybe you feel old and cranky? If so, I have the answer. It's MaxFit Sports Nutrition with 2 locations, 23rd Street in the Coronado Plaza and in Pier Park North on Back Beach Road. MaxFit Sports Nutrition has nutritional products and professional dietary plans to get you moving in the right direction. So get off that couch and get to MaxFit Sports Nutrition now. MaxFit Sports Nutrition, where you can try it before you buy it.
The Gator Boys are back.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
And ready to defend their national title.
The rack. Layup good and wide. Off the rim. Alley-oop dunk. Smashed down by Condon. Oh, yes, sir. It's the foul line extended. Rises for 3. Bang, he got it to the rack. Dunks it with 2 hands.
On your home for Florida basketball.
Gators, Gamecocks tonight. Tip off at 6 on 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290.
I'm sure that most of you have used a dial telephone before.
The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Come back to the Sports Blitz.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida, your spot for Gator basketball. Don't forget, Florida Gator basketball versus South Carolina Gamecocks tonight at 6 o'clock right after the show. We will be here with it, so don't forget to tune in to that. You want to be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290. We're going to the Red 7T's phone line right now. We got Big Nate on the line. Big Nate, how you doing today? Thanks for being patient, my friend.
Well, I got to have to get my frequent caller miles in, because
that's right. They're logging.
I'm in my mobile studio driving to and from the bus yard. And, you guys pick up and bring out the best in me when it comes to sports. So thank you for all that you do.
Is it one of those things where you love us and then you hate us?
No, I don't hate anybody. I'm too old.
No, but the things that we say sometimes, because, I'm not saying I'm controversial, but, most people are not going to agree with me all the time. That's for sure.
Most people don't agree with him all the time because he's antagonistic. It's how those LSU fans are. That's what they do. That's why he's here.
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You got to remember, I come from the Pacific Northwest, so I ain't getting no love from you guys at all.
At all. Yeah. Zero. You're exactly right.
I'm having to reprogram myself here.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're thankful that we're a part of that.
Right. Well, it's your guys' problem now. The biggest thing I've got to ask is I'm a huge football fan. Baseball, basketball, I'm trying to get back into, but football is my thing. So, looking at the potential of especially the SEC, all the different conferences you've got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys see teams that are going to fall off from that top 25 because of talent that they're losing to the draft or maybe didn't develop soon enough to replace. And those teams that have had the talent but haven't had that opportunity to showcase their talent because of the higher-ups, and they need to move up because now they're going to be the top dog. And I just want to see how many are going to fall out of the top 25 and how many are going to get a chance to go into the top 25. Now, this may not be a one-and-done kind of day answer, but there's a lot of things going on with students, the players, and their ability, because I got an algorithm I'm building. You guys don't need to know my secrets, but it basically deals with the fact that everybody's got collateral.
Yeah.
Based on how much they've played, what grade they're in, how much time they've got left with that team potentially, and whether or not they're going to move from that team to another team, because that's a thing now. So there's a lot in my algorithm trying to dial in, and I hope that maybe you guys could give me some insight to the players that you see coming up that may be making the move that will better their situation, or maybe it won't.
The forecast of the present is always predicated on the past. And with that being said, you have to look at the past winners. You have to look at who's won in the past, and you have to see how they built their team. Are they building them that way? You know as well as I do, when you have a new football coach coming in with his staff, with his people, it's always the big question mark. Then you have to look at schedule, but then you have to look at one position and one position alone. And that position, my friend, unfortunately, is the quarterback position. The second year starters will always be more successful than your first year starters. So when you have that, that's the teams that are going to do well. So you look at teams like...
They should. On paper, they should.
They should, and they usually do. Now, does that mean every single team? No, but that does mean you're going to see Georgia there because they got Gunnar Stockton coming back. You're going to see Texas because you got Arch Manning coming back. But then you look at teams like Vanderbilt, new quarterback. You look at Missouri, new quarterback. You look at Ole Miss, original quarterback but lost the coaching staff. So what's that going to look like? Then you look at Auburn. They've got a new coaching staff coming in with a first-year starter for their team, but a second-year starter at the college level. Byron Brown. He's played against good football players, so he does know how to play. So look for your Auburn to probably replace Missouri. Auburn, what did they have last year? A good defense. So with being a good defense, who do they retain? They retain their defensive coordinator. So you're going to have Auburn playing decent defense with a seasoned veteran at quarterback playing for his coach that he already knows the offensive scheme. Right. So right there, you've got those guys. The Lane Kiffin thing is still going to be up to, I think it'll be fine because you're going to be able to have the people, the players that have played big-time football. It's just whether or not they're going to get together.
Do you honestly think Lane Kiffin not to be, honestly, I don't think Lane Kiffin's that good of a coach.
He knows how to do the things that you're supposed to do, and that is get the ball to your best players' hands. And then if let's just be honest. Lane Kiffin does a good job, but I do think last year he caught lightning in a bottle with Trinidad Chambliss. So with that being said, if he catches lightning in a bottle with Sam Levitt, and Sam Levitt turns out to be the guy that everybody, especially Jeff, thinks that he is, then I think there's a chance that he's got a good shot. Now his schedule is tough, but you got to think we always put that Alabama game as a big deal with Alabama. Well, guess what? New starter. So what are you going to get? You really don't know. What did Alabama have this year? New starter. They made the playoff, but as you saw, they didn't look very good as the season went on, and that's going to be the problem for some of these teams that's got new starters.
Yeah, but they've got the same coaching staff.
They got the same coaching staff with a new starter who's been in their program. So could that be the next level?
Now, is that a home game or an away game?
The LSU game is at LSU.
Wait, against who?
Bama, right?
Oh, against Bama, yeah.
It's hard to win in LSU.
It is. And I believe that Kiffin is going to play into the old school of Death Valley. I think he's going to try to get every night game that he can so that it builds the aura of Death Valley.
And here's the crazy part. Texas A&M, and Alabama are all playing in Baton Rouge. And I just said that basically LSU's going to lose 2 of those 3 games. Because we're going to win at the Grove. We're going to win at Ole Miss, but we're going to lose at Tennessee. And that's what I made a prediction earlier. And losing 2 games at home, that costs the last coach his job.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you go up against Bebo, that's a problem.
Well, and you got to think, too, the second part of the answer that I wanted to give you is you're going to have your consistencies of Arkansas. You're going to have your consistencies of Kentucky. Those guys are going to still be in the bottom. Florida is the outlier. Are they going to take a step closer to the top group, or are they going to kind of do middle of the road? Is John Summerall going to be able to bring a new starter? Again, you got 2 kids there competing for the starting job who's never started in college. So there you go. That's the way you look at it to me. And that's just going off of the past. So the past can always be changed by the future, but usually the future does replicate the past.
Look at what happened with the NFL, because, the Hawks and Pats weren't on anybody's radar.
True.
They ended up in the Super Bowl. And I think there's a lot of what have you done for me lately kind of guys, and that's where this problem with the students comes into play, is like they may had an off year, but it may not have been all their fault. All of a sudden they're getting pushed off for another person, or maybe it was an injury, but now he wants to seek somewhere else to go, and he's being penalized. So,
yeah, that's true. And the thing about when you bring up the NFL, the thing that's different with the NFL that I believe is different is that when you have some of these injuries that cause the quarterbacks that have been winning on one side to go out, that allows a Patriots team that's kind of, hasn't been there before, they're able to navigate through with a great defense. And I think that's what Vrabel did. And then you look at how Seattle got there. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to be there for sure, but let's just be honest. The 2 best teams in a National Football League were the Rams and the Seahawks. That Seahawk-Ram game, to me, was your Super Bowl. But if they made it past.
Denver was up there, too.
Yeah, until their quarterback got hurt. So you got Mahomes, you got Bo Nix, you got Lamar Jackson was in and out, you had Burrow in and out, and those guys matter. And when they're out, that's how you get a Patriots in the Super Bowl.
But you want to know you want to know the outliers that are outside of the top 25 who have a chance to move in. I'm going to tell you right now, if Joey Aguilar is at Tennessee, they are the team that's going to move in, because they lost 4 games this last year, right? They lost a bowl game after the 4 losses. They lost to Illinois. I don't know how they did that in Nashville, but they did. And then USC is probably the best chance of moving up in the Big Ten of all the teams, because we look at what the teams. Penn State's not going to be the big mover in. Washington's already ranked, so are they going to really move up that much? Maybe, possibly.
I don't know. The on-field drama, man, that's going to cause problems.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think the quarterback's going to be an issue.
Running back this year.
So then Arizona State, maybe they have the best chance to come back.
No.
Because I'm telling you right now, it's not TCU. Kansas State just lost their coach. Iowa State just lost a coach. The Big 12 is the biggest mystery that you'll ever see. And then maybe Louisville or Clemson could come back in the ACC, maybe, because I don't think it's going to be Georgia Tech.
See, and that's what really kind of galls me, is that I used to be a huge Cougars fan for the Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
All of my coaching, all of my breeding comes from there. And it's just sad to see them because they're not in a major conference anymore, really, that they don't get the looks and the schedule that they should.
Mm-hmm.
But they're always trying, they never give up. So.
And they're always at game day with their flag.
Right. Oh, man, that flag is huge.
So there you go. But I will say this. I think that when you look at how college football has kind of leveled out for this year, I think we're going to see a little bit of the same. The question to me, and I know that I'm an Alabama fan, but the question is to me is who is going to replace Alabama? Because if what Jeff is saying is correct, if Aguilar gets there and Tennessee is that team, then Alabama is probably going to be the one that it replaces. Because Oklahoma, I think they stay right where they are. I think they give exactly what they got. Because why? They've got Mateer coming back. Second year, here we go. Georgia, they're in. You got a Texas team that spent $40 million. You can't bet against that. They got to be in there. So there you go.
Barring any unforeseen circumstances like injuries and stuff. But
yep.
it's going to be a very interesting year. I think there's going to be a lot of shakeups, honestly. But yeah, no, the draft class is not what it should be, I think, this year. But next year, oh my goodness.
It's going to be stacked.
It's going to be so, I mean, people are going to be going for big dollars.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're bumped up against the break.
I'll let you go. I know you're at the end of the hour, so.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate the call. Definitely love the conversation. Thanks for calling and listening, Big Nate. We'll talk to you later, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Yes, sir. When we come back, we've got Coach Lane Below in the building, Gulf Coast State Commodore head basketball coach. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call or text in now on the Red 7T's studio line. 850-215-6290. Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's Auburn versus Mississippi State tomorrow night. The Tigers are on a 4-game losing streak and looking to get off the skid. Tip-off at 8 at the Humphrey Coliseum. Listen live on your home for college basketball on the Gulf Coast.
The little guy. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. A variety of partly cloudy skies and slight fog tonight with a light breeze around 5 miles per hour coming out of the south and temps near 58. Tomorrow morning, we will have a variety of slight fog and some clouds and be quite warm at 68. Lightly sprinkling in the afternoon and evening and a high 69. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7T's. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7ts.com.
Ask for special ESPN Northwest Florida pricing.
Celebrate National Margarita Day, Sunday, February 22nd at Pepper's Mexican Grill and Cantina. You'll enjoy 2-for-1 on all margaritas. All margaritas are 2-for-1. This is the day dedicated to enjoying margaritas crafted with tequila, lime, and triple sec. It's a fun occasion to indulge in margaritas with friends and family. The legendary Pepper's Mexican Grill and Cantina. Now with 2 locations, Back Beach next to Home Depot and Highway 77.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Bigger Boys are back.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
And ready to defend their national title.
The rack, layup, good and wide. Top of the rim, alley-oop dunk, smashed down by Condon. Oh, yes, sir. It's the foul line extended, rises for 3. Bang, you got it to the rack. Dumps it with 2 hands.
On your home for Florida basketball.
Gators, Gamecocks tonight. Tip-off at 6 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Climb into our DM and jump into the chat. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson is live on Facebook. Interact with Paul and other sports fanatics. Now, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Tuesday, and you're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida, your spot for college basketball. Don't forget the Florida Gators versus the South Carolina, I don't even want to say it. They're so bad. It's going to be Gator. They're going to kill them tonight. But either way, listen in right after the show. Don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290, the Red 7T's phone line. The Red 7T's your place for all things custom apparel right here in the Panhandle. Go to their Facebook page or their website. You can see them there. But either way, we're pumped up. We've got in studio Gulf Coast State College head basketball coach of the Commodores, Coach Lane Below. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm good. We had a good practice, so feeling good.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Now, Jeffrey, I don't know if you knew this or not. I don't know if you remember, but Coach played at Ole Miss. And so, so Coach.
Was that last year? I'm joking.
I wish.
He had that baby face going on there.
No doubt. Yeah.
So, I mean, but Jeffrey's really old, so he gets the senior citizen around here. He can say little jokes like that.
I got you.
So, Coach, do you get out there and you shoot around with the kids?
Oh,
and,
heck yeah.
Do you give them some buckets sometimes?
I haven't. We've been actually as a staff throwing the football around a little bit. So running some routes. I got the assistants lining up versus each other, and whoever does better that day gets to sit a little closer to me on the bench during the game. So.
That's what I'm talking about. That is fantastic. Coach Saban used to play basketball in a league with all of his coaches, and he would pick the best coaches to be on his team.
Oh, wow.
And then the referees that would come and ref the games.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't call your own fouls. They would be like boosters and stuff. So like, hey, you're not gonna get in the game if you call a foul on Coach Saban. So sounds like you're doing it right over there, Coach.
No doubt.
He's definitely hoarse from yelling at the kids, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's a steady thing. I told him the last time he sounded like a Pentecostal preacher. So, but without the snakes.
We've been here forever, though. I mean, today was our 93rd practice of the year.
Oh,
we
wow.
played 26 games. We were here all June and
He
July.
says of the year, but we have to say season, okay? Because the year, we're like, what are we like, 48th day in the year?
Yeah. So that's a lot of yelling.
It is.
Yeah,
that is. And you know what? I've been over there firsthand. So, and I sit behind the scores table more than I did behind the bench because his family's over there, and I didn't want to be because his wife played college basketball as well. And so she knows the game. So
where'd she play?
She played at Southeast Missouri State and then finished at Evansville. So from our area, and then she went to Evansville. It's 3-4 hours away and played there last year.
In Illinois.
So she has one...
Or Indiana. I'm sorry, Indiana.
Yeah, she has one of their children in one arm. The other one's running around playing, so she's getting onto... But then she's still locked in, like telling the players what to do. I'm sure she's screaming at him. And it's great. It's wonderful. And that's special. It's special for you because when you get home, I'm sure y'all talk about it. And I know the last time we talked about it, you said that she does tell you stuff of where you didn't do so well or where they should have done this or that. How much of that is yes, ma'am, and how much is it you're just like, I'm just going to agree with you so you'll stop?
None. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, it's all good. She can read the room. We've been doing it long enough, so she's not messing with me if I'm not talking a whole lot. If I'm opening a conversation, then we'll talk back and forth about it for sure.
So let's dive into the season. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty right here. And before you came on, you was telling us a little bit about what it's going on right now. So realistically, give us the outlook of what the next 2 weeks are going to look like, because this is getting down to, where every game matters, every minute matters, every point matters. So just kind of for the listeners, tell us so you guys just got through playing and that's your first loss in 4 games, I believe it was?
Yeah, I think we'd won 3 in a row.
3 in a row. Yeah. So going into that, you had a 3-game winning streak and then you lost to
4 in a row.
4 in a row. Okay.
Yeah.
So you won 4 and then you lost to Northwest Florida, and that was 84-74, in which those games... that probably was a tight game up until right there.
Yeah, it's tied with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
They made a couple shots and we had to foul, but they're good, man. They got a good team.
So give us the outlook of what's coming up. So you guys got your ranking today, and where are you ranked?
We were 5th in the country today. I think Tallahassee was 9, Chipola 10, and then Northwest was 11. So 4 of us are all in the hunt here to win the conference, and you got 4 teams in the top 11 in the country. So somebody's going to be disappointed, not this Saturday, but next for sure.
So somebody's their season, if they don't play well, if they have a game or two that they just don't do well, their season could inevitably be over. And that's how it's so tight. And this is the heavy conference. This is the conference that everybody has their eyes on because of how strong it is. And realistically, if you don't win your conference or be in the top 3 of your conference, you don't make it to the playoff.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. I mean, what's crazy is, we've got 4 games left. We had the bye. Mm-hmm. Everybody else started the 3rd round last Saturday, so everybody else has 3. So we're 5-3, and another 3 teams are knotted up at 5-4. But basically half a game out of first place, whatever. And so, 4-0 obviously wins the league. 3-1, you probably split it. 2-2, your season could be over depending on tiebreakers. So it's an important 2 weeks here.
The way, as I looked at the box score of the last couple of games, I come over there the other day and watched, and so got a little familiarity with the team. And then tomorrow night, you guys play Chipola, and I'll be going over there for that. We're going to cover it after the show. Talk about, now obviously you've got Trent Lincoln, who everybody in the country knows about, just signed with TCU, and he's your leader. He's who the ball goes through at all times. Tell us how important Trent has been for this year so far.
I mean, I would say really important, not just scoring, but just getting other guys involved. We've got a pretty young team for the most part, with the exception of a couple guys, Cobbs and Alpha Berry, and everybody else is freshmen. And so, I think having an older guy that's played a lot of college games, and especially in this league in particular, has been, really beneficial for us. And he's been good. I mean, he scores a lot. He's getting 20 a game, but, he's top 5 in the country in assists also. So that, offensively, he's really doing a lot of positive things for our team, passing it and scoring it.
Well, and that's one of the things that I noticed that when I was over there watching, a lot of times they know, so they'll pick him up early, they'll pick him up past half court, and then if he does not bring the ball up, a lot of times they'll try to deny and even try to push the defense towards him. But he does such a good job at getting loose, getting to the ball, and then finding the open man. And the biggest thing about your team that I found that was great is that you have a lot of people that know how to find the open spots on the court so that they find themselves open, and then they can knock down the shots. And I just think that's, with the way college basketball is now, that's so important. And me and you joked after the game the other night, and we talked about how physical this college game has been. Have you ran into where it's not as physical as the other night? Because I know that sometimes you said that depending on where you are, that sometimes it's a little more physical. Sometimes the refs will let you get away with a little more. Are you finding that everybody's kind of like coming into the central way of calling games, or are you kind of getting a little bit, you just kind of have to know what you're doing that night?
Yeah, I think it's kind of game by game, but it's been pretty consistently physical in my opinion, kind of every game we've had. Some games a little different than others. Some games you shoot a lot more free throws, some games they're letting it go, but if they are, it's usually both ways, so it's kind of, level playing field. So what's one of the things that you preach to your children? I call them your children because realistically they're yours for the next, however long you said y'all been playing. What do you preach to them as far as now with these 2 weeks coming up? Like, what's your go-to for them? Is it just business as usual, or is there some special, coaching things that you do right now where, hey, this is where we got to really do what? Yeah, no, nothing in particular, and I haven't really talked big picture a ton. I mean, they know exactly where it's at and where we sit, all that. So I just think, we've had kind of a day-to-day approach. Let's be as good as we can possibly be today in practice, tomorrow, shoot around in the game, et cetera. Like, you can't worry about these other teams, what they do, et cetera. This game goes that way. Oh, we're in second. You can't worry about that. We just got to control what we can control and win games, and we'll be fine. What does Chipola do well that you really got to make sure that, you've got to, are they, is their guard play very good? Do they like to try to get the ball in the paint? What's Chipola like when you are going to go into them tomorrow night? Super physical. I mean, if I had to compare them to somebody on a Division I level, I'd say the same thing as kind of like a Houston, super physical, offensive rebounding, trying to out-tough you, guard you. They want the game to be a little lower possession, et cetera. And so, if you can match our physicality and toughness, and then, I think we've got some offensive firepower. We've had some success versus them this year, but I think that has little to no bearings on this game. I think it's going to be a street fight tomorrow. And that's the biggest thing when you get into these games that are late in the season. You have to have that, toughness.
How do you feel like the freshmen have answered the bell as far as toughness goes? Because, you only have 3 sophomores on your team and a lot of freshmen. The rest are freshmen. So how important has just allowing them to be so tough and understand? Because I've watched both. I've watched the high school game, and now I've watched the college game of junior college. And to me, the junior college game is so much more physical. And how have you acclimated that group into being able to be effective and understand, hey, they're going to be really physical. They're going to try to push you around. They're going to try to get in your head. They're going to try to, use every bit of the strength that they've got to push you around. How do you deal with that with having such a young team?
Yeah, 2 things. One, we scheduled extremely hard. I think analytically, our schedule when we finish next Saturday is the 5th hardest schedule in the country, and so we played a really tough non-con, and then obviously our conference is really good, and so that's one. They get battle tested in games, and then 2, we don't call fouls early in practice. Like when we're in September and October, like sometimes it looks like football out there, and guys get a little too physical at times, but you just can't call it, because like what we talked about, these games are super physical in the paint, and sometimes you get calls, sometimes you don't, and so we don't call many fouls early on. As the year goes on, we obviously will start calling a little bit tighter, but we let them tackle each other early.
That sounds pretty good. Let me ask you this. There was one question that I didn't get to ask you at the games that, I felt like it was more of a studio question for you. I noticed that the guard play at, Tallahassee, they seemed to try to talk a little bit. They were trying to antagonize a little bit, especially their off guard, their 2 guard. He shot it pretty well. He was their best shooter of the night.
Yep.
He tried to entice your guys. He would talk. He would give a little extra. He would talk to the bench as he's running by. If he made a shot, he would look over at the bench. He would look over at you. What's your message? Because obviously, you got to keep a clear head while you're playing basketball, because that's where they get you. How do you help them with that? Because I was just surprised. I didn't see any time that they really responded in anything, as far as there wasn't anything where the referees had to step in. And I mean, he was talking trash a lot the whole time, especially when he hit a couple in a row. He was really yapping at the bench a lot. What's your message to your team, and how did they hold back from engaging in that?
I mean, we've had some guys early in the year get a technical, and then they get to meet the treadmill at 5 a.m. the next day. So luckily, knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of issues with any of that. And I think, just one, obviously the game's emotional. Guys get charged up during the games, et cetera. But you're playing in 1 or 2 possession games. You get a technical for your team. The other team makes 2 free throws, and you lose by 1. Like, you're sick. And so I don't talk about that every day, but we have talked about it throughout the year, and I've got 1 technical since I've been here in 60-plus games, and so I'm like paranoid we're going to lose a game if we get a technical, and so we don't do that usually, knock on wood.
Wow. I can't believe that. Now, Coach, I told you that I played at Bishop, and, in college, I didn't get – I think I might have gotten 1, maybe 2 techs, but – over in Mobile, when I was a senior and a junior, I led the county in scoring 26 to 27 points a game in high school. But I also led the county in technical fouls. And so, our coach would make us run, but you said a 5 a.m. treadmill. That's what that is?
Yeah, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. if we want to be nice to our assistant, because somebody's got to get up and do it with them,
So did you have to run yours for the 1 tech you got, or no?
No, the game was over. It was out of hand, so okay. I gave myself a pass.
That's all right. That's okay. You can, because you're the coach. Now let's get into. We only have about 5 minutes left, Coach, and so we're gonna dive over into college basketball. Division I. Let me ask you this: as far as this year, have you ever seen a year that's been so competitive at the top? I mean, all top 10 teams that are in the country right now, I could see them going on a run and winning. Who do you like that's in the top 10 right now, or maybe they're on the outskirts, maybe like Florida where they are right now?
Yeah, I think Florida's probably the best in the SEC, but all year I would say Michigan and Arizona have kind of been a little different than everybody else. Houston's tough enough that they can win any game, and then Florida's made some noise. They started a little shaky, but I thought they played a tough schedule, kind of like we talked about earlier, and so I think Michigan, Arizona, and Houston are kind of in that top tier, in my opinion. And then I think everybody else is very capable. I think the NCAA tournament is probably as hard of a tournament to win as any of them,
Yeah, I think that's the hardest. I do. I just think because you can run into a team that you don't match up very well against, and that could be the problem. Maybe you're big and they're small, and they could run and gun and that kind of thing. So let me ask you this: do you think that where do you see Duke at with the way that they're playing? Like, do you think that? Do you think Schreier, obviously he does a good job, but do you think they're a team that could do something, get to that Elite Eight, maybe the Final Four if they had the right, chemistry or at the end of the year?
I think so. I think they're elite defensively for sure. Obviously, they exploded offensively over Syracuse the other night, but the one thing they have done consistently is guard, and then Boozer's as good as anybody, in my opinion, in the country, even as a freshman. And so, yeah, I think so, but I do think, I know this sounds probably cliche, but I think you've got to have a little bit of luck. You've got to be playing well. Last year Florida made a run, but they were playing really well, peaking at the right time. And I think guards win in March, so I think the teams that got the best guards and can get it going at the right time are going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and so do you have somebody that you kind of mold yourself after? Is there anybody that's a college coach right now that you would say that, like, you kind of, maybe not mold, but maybe, you like his coaching style? That'd be kind of who you would, like to look up to, or maybe look at what he does?
I'd say, I went and spent a couple of days and watched Alabama. I've always kind of been more offensively geared, if you will, and mainly because I've been around defensive guys. Mm-hmm. And so, we shoot 33s a game, which is top 5 in the country. We make over 10 a game, which is top 5 in the country. We play a little bit faster and, kind of more of a new age style, if you will. I'm not saying we're exactly them, but, I like the way that they play offensively for sure.
You're getting some love when you mentioned the Michigan team. When you said Michigan, it started blowing up a little bit. Our friend of the show, Ty, he loves Michigan, but he's giving you some love. He's talking about that Duke's probably going to throw it away, but Michigan's probably going to win. Let me ask you this. We got maybe about a minute or so. When you look at how physical your game is on the Division I level, when you see stuff like that happened the other night with Providence, do you think that there's a way that they can stop that kind of stuff from happening? I know that that's just one case scenario. I know that that's not, and we've seen only one case scenario in the NBA. Do you think that the physicality of the game has drawn it to where they're going to have more of those instances, or do you think it's just the nature of the beast? It's just part of the game?
Personally, I just think it's part of it. Kind of like targeting in football. It's an emotional sport. Guys are trying to win. Competitive juices. Sometimes people get a little bit out of character, out of body a little bit, but obviously there's no room for that stuff. The guy's obviously going to get punished for it, and I'd be shocked if it happens again, to be honest, with that particular player.
Yeah, because especially with you, we were talking about it. You said 3 games suspension. That's important right now, obviously. And as you get closer to the playoffs, as you get closer to the tournament, it's going to be, you don't need to miss any games. You don't need to be out. So I think that's going to be huge. So tomorrow night, what time is the game tomorrow night?
The women play at 5:15. We follow after, usually about 7:15 to 7:30.
And, we want all the fans to come out, see some good basketball. And I'll say this, Jeffrey, when you go watch that level of basketball, you're going to see, how many, Coach? Probably about 15 dunks a night, somewhere around there, something close.
Quite a few. Yeah, we dunk the ball a lot. We play in transition a lot, but yeah, a lot of dunks for sure.
So if you want to see a good action-packed game, and you want to see some dunks, you want to see some dunk on people, some three-pointer shot, go check out the Gulf Coast State Commodores, because they definitely are, I don't know, man. I just love it. It reminded me a lot of the UNLV teams back in the day, where just run and gun and go. And it's not like selfish basketball. They find the open person. So it's really fun to watch. So either way, make sure, and I think, hold on. Hold on. I think we got a message from your wife here. We can't go to break yet. Hold on 1 second, Bone Crusher. Don't let Lane fool you on his technical foul. He probably got it because of yelling at the refs. So there you go. Mama below has spoken, and we're going to take her side on this one, Coach. So I'm sorry about that. She's right in this.
No doubt.
That's right. That's a great answer. And did you do anything special for your wife for Valentine's Day?
We actually went and watched a basketball game. We went and watched Chipola play. We had to buy, and so we had cooked a dinner the night before, and we got our kids. So
there you go.
That's romantic.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Beautiful Mariana.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Mariana is. Where'd you go for Valentine's? Mariana. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We're gonna be there tomorrow night. We're gonna root you guys on, and we appreciate you coming on today, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. When we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit more about the NCAA basketball season and a couple of things I got to ask Jeffrey about. His hero has got some news going on. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone service.
The Red 70s studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The last time Florida and South Carolina played, it was a blowout.
On the three.
The Gators won 95-48, and the rematch is tonight. We'll have tip-off coming up at 6 from Gainesville, right here on your home for college basketball on the Gulf Coast.
And it goes in at the buzzer.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. A variety of partly cloudy skies and slight fog tonight with a light breeze around 5 miles per hour coming out of the south and temps near 58. Tomorrow morning, we will have a variety of slight fog and some clouds and be quite warm at 68. Lightly sprinkling in the afternoon and evening and a high 69. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Crawfish season is back, and the heat is on at Lone Star Boil House. Lone Star Boil House is where the locals go for delicious, mouth-watering Cajun crawfish, shrimp, buttery red royals, and everything crab. Plus, Lone Star Boil House is now serving liquor. Get crawfish 6 days a week, open to close. To-go crawfish also available at the front bar, and crush the follow on Facebook for frequent food and drink specials. Lone Star Boil House, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Contractors, when your job site needs materials fast, trust the local team that delivers. Mid-South Lumber Company brings you reliable job site delivery, in-house credit, and competitive pricing on everything from lumber to doors, windows, and more. Plus, their unmatched customer service has your back through every step of the build, making ordering, delivering, and the whole process easier for you. Support local. Build with Mid-South Lumber Company. Mid-South Lumber in Panama City on 11th Street or on Highway 231 in Youngstown. ESPN Northwest Florida advertisers get results.
Hi, this is Todd from PCB Hobby on Back Beach. Advertising with ESPN Northwest Florida has been a wonderful experience. Their staff is very knowledgeable and friendly. If you want to talk with customers like you never thought possible, reach out to the team at ESPN Northwest Florida, 850-215-4468.
Get results for your business. Call ESPN Northwest Florida, 850-215-4468.
Can you take the hits? Here comes the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for college basketball. Don't forget, tonight after the show, the Gators play the Gamecocks, 6 o'clock. Don't forget, you can be a part of the show, 850-215-6290. We got Jeffrey in the building, Bone Crushers here. That was a good interview. I enjoyed the just how they let you into what they try to do in their program. And I love it. And the thing is that a lot of people in this area don't realize it, but Gulf Coast State University over there is fantastic. They are top-notch. They're having more and more people that are going Division I. That is, and that's the biggest thing. Like Trent Lincoln, he is going to TCU. Like, that's big-time basketball, and he's got several other kids that are going to get Division I scholarships after. There will be, more of that to go around. So, and I'm telling you.
And the Big 12 is having a great year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just Arizona. It's your Texas Tech.
Yep.
It's your Iowa State. And it's your Kansas.
Yeah.
And TCU is in that conference.
Yeah, and they play those guys. And he was recruited by Kansas. Yeah. And he probably, and we'll have him in. I'm sure there was a reason why he picked TCU. You know what I mean? He probably had a better shot at going right in and starting right out the gate, and that's the deal. He could have started it at Kansas because he's a great athlete, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's really good. And so
Kansas State's having a horrible year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But they need it, and that's why they go after these guys that are like this, that are ready to go, that are plug and plays, that can play right now.
So we didn't get to talk on air about it, but he basically keeps people for 2 years. That's all he's allowed to keep people because, it's a stepping stone is what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's tough because these kids come in and you don't know what they know. So you have to teach them almost everything to make them try and have the knowledge of, when things get a little chippy, in the game, or a little physical is what we're talking about, to hold back and not throw like a punch or something like that, because, it's these kids take a lot of pride and they want to win.
Well, you got to be mentally strong to play college sports. Period.
You do.
You really do. And that's one of the hardest things for kids coming out of high school to understand is that, you can't be a hothead. You've got to be mild with your response. You got to be able to handle the pressure.
But it's kind of like you have to be physical, obviously.
Yeah.
And I probably of the right mind later on, as years go by, but I don't have the physical anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have part of it early in life, and then you develop it as you get a little bit older, and it's hard to develop because some people, they develop faster than others.
And here we go again. That is the reason why when the older people are playing college football, college baseball, college basketball, they do well against the ones that are younger because they're mentally prepared and more mature. And that's why Indiana won the national championship, not because of Kirk Cignetti. I'm kidding. He won it.
So let me ask you a quick question on that one. We just fell into it, right? If Indiana goes 10-2, which a year, not this last season, but the season before, they were going 10-2, they would have been left out.
Right.
If they go 10-2 this next year, are they going to get the respect enough?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
To be in that top 10.
You don't understand what Kirk Cignetti did. He made himself relevant. He made himself the face of college football with all of the craziness going on with Lane Kiffin and all these coaches going here, going there. He steadied the ship. He went undefeated. He won the national title. And now Kirk Cignetti is the star head football coach of college football.
Crazy.
So
2 years ago, if you had told somebody that it was going to be the Indiana coach, they said, no, we know better than that.
They wouldn't even have known his name.
Yeah.
But you watch the first day when they break open game day for the first time, his face is going to be on there, and he is going to be the star of the show. And don't forget, Indiana, I haven't looked at their schedule, but if they play anybody in the Big Ten that's ranked, game day will probably be there.
Okay, let me ask you a question now that, it's all about, Gulf Coast, right? They charge you admission?
Yeah, I think it's $10 to get in.
$10 to get in. And do they have popcorn? And
they got it all. Yep, they got it all.
Okay.
Yep. So they've got a good concession stand. There's not a bad seat in the house. They've got backs to the chairs, so you have your own chair. Yep.
Wow.
So they got backs to all the chairs, so you can sit as close to the court as you want. You can sit behind the visitor. You can sit behind the. They've got some places marked off for the families, but you've got anywhere you go. Now, one thing that was crazy while I was there was a student who got kicked out for heckling the other team
It's so bad. You know what amazes me is the women, and not just the NBA, but other sports and all that, the heckling out of the women. Like, I'm talking about grown women, like 38 years old, and they'll heckle basketball players in the NBA, and it's just mind-boggling how they do that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Women are great. I don't know.
Some of them may get into it, man.
Let me ask you this. Let's move on to our next topic. Your childhood hero.
Okay, I don't know which sport are you talking about?
Who is your childhood hero?
Okay, I mean, I don't like to use the word hero, but there were players that I really followed and I really liked a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Dan Marino was one of them.
Okay, Dan Marino is one of them. Okay. But who was somebody that you just you loved him? You thought he was a GOAT?
Well, Michael Jordan.
Okay, Michael Jordan, yep.
And Mike Tyson.
There it is.
Uh-oh.
Number 3, Mike Tyson. Just so you know.
What happened?
Mike Tyson is now going to come back into the ring, and he is going to fight Floyd Mayweather.
No way.
Yes, sir. April 25th. In the Congo.
This year?
This year.
April
25th, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather are going to be boxing.
So this isn't the Rumble in the Jungle. They have a name for this thing yet?
Not yet, but I'm sure it will be something else. So the date is April the 25th. How do you feel about that? I mean, you got 59-year-old Mike Tyson fighting 48-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather is fast. But the power is not like Tyson. I mean, Tyson had power, but he's 59 years old, man, and his punches are not going to come quick like they used to. I mean, that guy was a beast. He was bobbing and weaving. I mean, he had defensive skills too when Tyson was young and he was fast like that.
Well, and that's
it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of this when he fought Jake Paul.
Yeah.
So we saw what he could do against Jake Paul.
Or not do.
and we also saw Floyd Mayweather when he fought against Conor McGregor.
Okay, but how old is Mayweather?
48.
Oh, he's 48 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, my. I'm gotten old that quick.
But he's not Manny Pacquiao because that's, don't forget, as much as you love Mike Tyson, Bone Crusher loves Manny Pacquiao. That is his hero as well. So, but how do you feel about that? How do you feel that now
I can't believe Mayweather is 48. I got to Google that and make sure it's true. That's just mind-boggling. 48 years old.
Well, I mean, that's one of the fights. So now we've got another fight. That's
not Logan Paul.
No.
Thank God.
Ronda Rousey is going to get back into the MMA ring for a special night on Netflix to fight Gina Carano on Saturday, May 16th. So now you got April
and
May of all of these people coming back. What do you think? Why do you think they're coming back? You think
money?
Do you think they're
money? Money and maybe a little bit of limelight. I think Ronda Rousey probably needs limelight again because she's kind of faded away, and that's the problem with MMA is that you can be in the limelight for a year and a half or 2 years, and then it's no more because they've got the new best and biggest thing comes along, and that's how MMA is.
And that's where, MMA is grown, and I love it, and I enjoy watching it. I like the skill. There's a skill set to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some guys that just go in there and have, stone for hands, I mean, they can knock out anybody if they get a good shot. But then, there's technical guys out there that people don't love to watch where they choke them out, and they look like they're just hugging each other all night. So, but I mean, those guys are really serious business. And I know we have a local one coming soon. We might be a part of it. I'm not sure yet, but we worked on that.
They have kids who are 13 and 14 years old and train for that here on the Panhandle. And I'm not just talking about Panama City Beach. I'm talking about over in Pensacola and Niceville and everything.
Oh yeah, no, they're everywhere.
They've got their moms drive them to these events to compete.
Oh, yeah.
As a teenager.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the high schools, they've got a great wrestling programs. I know that, Bay.
I thought you were going to say they have MMA teams at the high school.
No.
I'm like, what's the liability on that one?
Yeah, but they've got wrestling and Bay, and Bay High does, and Mosley, and North Bay Haven, and Bozeman, and all those guys. Arnold, they all do that as well. Let's get into the, we only have about 5 minutes before our next break, but let's talk about it. They put out the AP Top 25, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. With Iowa State beating Houston last night, them being at 6, and Houston being at 2. I don't know if you realized that Houston was ranked 2 last night.
I thought they were 3rd, but okay.
But yeah, they'd come out as the 2nd ranked. Duke is
because Arizona fell to 3.
Yep. No, Duke is at 3. Arizona's at 4. And then you got UConn
I don't agree with that. No, Arizona, I don't want to say they deserve to beat Kansas, but it kind of got stole from them. So I feel like they are basically like a one-loss team, and I don't think they should go down all the way to 4. That's how much respect I have for Arizona.
Well, and when you look at Kansas, they're at 8.
Okay.
And then you got Purdue at 7.
And Kansas, after beating by 3 points, they beat Arizona. Then they get beat by Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Right? Yeah, that's crazy.
No, Texas Tech.
Oh, Texas Tech. That's right.
Yep.
Texas Tech.
But see,
handily, though.
But see, even the way it's set up, Texas Tech is ranked 13th.
Yeah.
And
they have a lot of losses, but they have 3 huge wins.
Yeah, and that's the difference. And that's why whenever we were talking to Coach, I think realistically, he's saying that Michigan and Arizona have kind of separated themselves. I think they're all going to get a number 1. I think
UConn is the one that's kind of lingering out.
Yeah, they're 5th right now.
And if they can just control their own destiny by beating the teams that are on their schedule, they don't have the big games like these other teams do have for the rest of the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Now,
3 weeks. Do we have 3 weeks left?
Yeah, we got 3 weeks left.
Yeah, okay.
So do you like Hurley over there at UConn?
Yeah, sure. I mean, getting results done, they win games. It's what you got to do, and then tournament time, you got to win some games, and that's what he's done.
And I mean, do you like, everybody knows him because of his brother, and because of what he did with Duke,
okay. I'm not saying you're a Kentucky guy when it comes to basketball, but do you hate Duke?
No. I don't hate them.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have a disdain against Duke. I don't have a disdain against anybody for basketball. I do pull for the SEC if I had a chance.
Yeah.
But obviously Florida is the only shot that the SEC has.
I think people forget they're not going to look back at this. Hurley, the brother, Bobby Hurley, was entertaining. And everybody talks about, Leitner and Grant Hill and Thomas
Hill.
Yeah, was it Thomas Hill? Yeah, Thomas Hill.
It was.
Yeah, those guys, Hurley was entertaining. He had an outside shot, and he had dribble skills. That guy was highly entertaining, and people have forgotten that he was even like that.
His toughness is what I liked about him. I mean, obviously.
As a little guy.
Yeah,
and we say little, but he was probably 6 foot flat.
Yeah, he probably was. 6'1", 6'2", something like that. But when you look at him, you're thinking, this guy's not going to be able to do anything. But he was just tough. He was gritty. He had this stuff. And the basketball was not as physical as it is now. It's way more physical
Leitner was.
Yeah, it's way more physical now. Well, we're going to take a break. But before we do, Recommended Collision Center. Those guys know exactly what to do if your vehicle's been involved in an accident. Brandon's going to be coming in tomorrow, and I'm excited to learn anything that they've got going on over there. But I will tell you this. If you want honest, fair, and good work, Recommended Collision Center is the place for your vehicle. Maybe your door handle isn't working. Maybe the mirror is not working. Maybe your bumper is hanging, or maybe you got some chips or whatever, and you need to get that thing sanded down and repainted. They don't paint your whole car. They just blend it in, and it takes skill to do that. Recommended Collision Center on Jinx Avenue is the place that can get you set up to do that. So go see those guys. Like I said, Brandon will be in here tomorrow. Wonderful guy, local guy, and, just a wonderful place. So go see him at Recommended Collision Center right there on Jinx Avenue. When we come back, we are going to discuss a little bit more of basketball, and we got some NFL news too. Don't forget, we're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
The only one person more critical than you to make this succeed, this show.
Thank you, Coach. That's so nice.
I was going to say that. Wildcat. You complete me. You had me at hello.
You believe this?
You had me at hello.
What do you want? What do you want?
I'm going to give you a gift.
Yeah.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you living with chronic pain, anxiety, or sleepless nights? You don't have to just get by. You deserve to thrive. At Thrive Alternative Medicine on Panama City Beach Parkway, Dr. Laughlin and counselor Suzanne Clark provide a compassionate path to relief. From medical marijuana card certifications to professional mental health counseling, managing conditions like PTSD, chronic pain, and the complexities of cancer. Book online at thrivealternativemedicine.com. thrivealternativemedicine.com. Find the relief you deserve.
Find something you love with great deals this month at Panama City Toyota. Get 1.99% APR on a new Camry, rated best midsize car by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.49% APR on the Rocket Tacoma. Plus, 90 days until your first payment. And get 2.49% APR on the powerful Tundra. Plus, 90 days until your first payment. Come check out our showroom or browse online at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires March 2nd. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
The Gator Boys are back.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
And ready to defend their national title.
The rack. Layup good and one. Off the rim. Alley-oop dunk. Smashed down by Condon. Oh, yes, sir. It's the foul line extended. Rises for three. Bang, he got it to the rack. And dunks it with two hands.
On your home for Florida basketball.
Gators Gamecocks tonight. Tip-off at 6 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The sports world is a battlefield of opinions. And every day, Paul Wilson brings the heat, the fire, and the definitive take. Don't just follow the headlines. Be a part of the story on the Sports Blitz. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for college basketball right here in the Panhandle. Don't forget the Gators tip off tonight right after the show. So about 45 minutes, we're going to be hearing the Gators take on South Carolina, the lowly Gamecocks of South Carolina. So hopefully the Gators are going to win that one.
So Ty Humbert, he texted in as a big 1-2 game tonight. Yeah. One versus number 2.
Yeah.
Problem is Purdue is actually third in the Big Ten. Illinois is number 2 alone. That's not a tie. And Purdue's leading Michigan right now. So the game's already tipped off. It's not tonight. It's more like this evening, right now.
Well, I'm telling you, it's going to be curious to see. I'm telling you, the Michigan, to me, right now, Michigan, Arizona, and I would throw in Kansas and probably UConn. I think Kansas. They're just good. Yeah. Their freshman is really good, but I'm just telling you, they could get hot. Just want to read one. Glenda says that Hurley was a whiny baby. So there you go.
Well, she hates Duke, so.
There you go. Let me ask you this. Did you know that ESPN Northwest Florida has an app?
Yeah.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
And if you go and download it, you got a chance to win a Jersey Mike's sub, chips, and a drink for you and 3 guests from Jersey Mike's on 23rd Street. So that's right over there across the street from Academy.
Yeah.
So right there close to Walmart. So that's where they're located. So if you go in and you download the ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush Enter Contest, you could win subs, chips, and a drink for 4 people. So, I mean, if you look at it, that's $15 per person.
Yeah.
And that's $60 in value right there. And then I think you can get a cookie and all this stuff. So either way, make sure you go in and crush the Enter Contest on the ESPN Northwest Florida app. That is what it's all about. Let me ask you this. The other day I saw something and I wanted to get your opinion about it because I know you loved him when he was playing, but it was said on an interview that Drew Brees said there was a moment
this year where I was drinking a tequila and something happened where I thought there might be a chance that I would play that week. And I literally switched to water, but it was like not there physically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Your mind's telling you yes, and your body tells you no. And that's what happens when you leave the sport and you've been out for a couple of years, you know?
Well, and I think they were asking him in reference to the 2025 season when we saw Phillip Rivers come back.
Yeah.
So they were asking him, was there a chance for Drew to come back?
He probably had a dream he was in a game because, I mean, you do that thing for 20-something years, and it's in your mind.
Well, probably the tequila probably didn't help.
So did you hear what David Carr said?
Yeah, well, we're going to that.
Okay.
But, I mean, let me ask you this, though, with Drew. Do you think Drew could come back and play?
No.
What?
It's been gone too long.
So out of all the quarterbacks, Eli, Drew, Phillip Rivers, we saw Phillip Rivers come back.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger could.
You think so?
He hasn't been gone as long.
Peyton
Manning's been gone way too long.
Tom.
It's been like 9 years on Peyton. Do you realize that?
Tom. I know.
Tom Brady has been 5 years. Yeah. Because he wasn't doing as much of his body as it was his mind. But your reaction time gets a little slowed down, but not 5 years is a little bit shorter on the reaction time. When it gets to be about 7 years, you're done.
So you're saying Eli's no.
Eli's a no.
Drew Brees is a no.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger is a yes.
Yes.
You would have said Phillip Rivers was a no before he came back and did it, though.
Because it's been, 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I would have said a no, but he did go in 3.
I mean, but
proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, but he almost beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, he almost beat the Seahawks as a team.
Yeah.
As a team.
And so you don't think... So, no to Peyton.
I mean, some of these guys stay in shape after their career's over with. And it's astounding to me because a lot of the guys that are non-QB, we're going to say, they have to pump weights and all that.
Yeah.
And they have to change their diet and not eat as many calories because they're so used to eating, 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day.
Because they're working it off.
Burning it. Yes, they're burning it off. And when they stop burning it off, the most unbelievable specimen I ever saw when I saw him so many years after his career was over with was Mike Singletary. When I saw Mike Singletary, I said, oh, my God, that guy was a linebacker. Mm-hmm. And look at him. He's like 4% body fat, and he's like 50 years old. And that just blew my mind that guy was like that because a lot of them, it goes to the midsection and everything, and they're not, slender like he was. I was like, wow, look at that guy in a tight shirt. I mean,
wow, you're looking at guys.
No.
Shirts.
It's just that when you saw it, because you wore like turtlenecks and tight shirts and all that, I was like,
wow,
look at Mike Singletary. Yeah. My goodness. That guy's working out, and he's 50 years old.
Wow.
He's in there.
You just kind of took it to another level. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
No, because a lot of these guys, you see it kind of, weighs on them. They gain weight. It's not easy.
Well, if you look at, like, the offensive linemen, a lot of times they'll lose their weight, and they'll be a skinnier, smaller guy after they leave the NFL. If you look at them, a lot of them do that.
No, I actually would tell you that you'd be surprised at how many keep the weight on, and the problem is that they have problems with their knees, and especially linemen, especially both defensive and offensive linemen, they have problems with their knees, and they have problems being active and burning the calories. It's almost like a vicious cycle because you need those assets to burn calories, correct, and exercise, yet, and you need to change your diet, and changing a diet's not easy.
So let me ask you this. Knowing that we, in 2 weeks, are going to be doing the 40-yard dash
oh my God,
with Coach Tommy Joe Whidden over at Mosley High School, have you started running yet?
No. What? And let me tell you what I'm probably envisioning myself, is I watch these guys do the 40 at age 21 or 22 years old at the combine, right? And I see them come out the box and then...
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen with me?
What?
I'm going to look good. No, I'm going to look good for about 5 yards, 5 meters, and then that's it. I'm going to look like an overweight old guy with gray hair, and it's going to be like loafing around. And he's not lying. Bone Crusher, when he said, "Oh, I want to be able to see myself pass up Jeff," that's what's going to happen. Because I'm lugging around 258 pounds, and I don't know what Bone Crusher weighs, but he's going to blow by me. If we were next to each other, it's going to be like, okay, I'm doing okay. No.
Well, I don't understand why. You know what's coming.
I know it's going to come. It's going to be embarrassing.
I don't understand why you don't train. Why are you not trying to get yourself in shape?
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
The combine. People do this for a living.
It's 40,
all the time.
It's 40 yards.
It's 40 yards. And you don't even seem to understand. To move 258 pounds is not easy. You put ankle weights on and you put up to 258. We'll see how fast you go.
Well, I mean, it would have to put it around my waist or something. Maybe I could get one of those weighted vests.
What's that man bra called? Oh, Seinfeld?
I don't know.
It was a man's ear.
Oh, my gosh.
Paul's wearing a man's ear against me.
No way. So let's look at it. You alluded to it. Derek Carr. He was interviewed talking about possibly coming back. And he said, I would have to be healthy and I would want the chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's hard to find. Yeah. It's hard to achieve. It's not easy. So that's on his podcast that he does with his brother, David. What do you think about that? I mean, used to be a Saints quarterback.
He's never going to be in that situation because he wasn't that good to be wanted by a Super Bowl caliber team.
So you don't think Derek Carr could come and be an asset to a team like Minnesota?
I'm going to say no.
2 years away.
He's not that level of talent to take that team to the next level.
So you don't believe that he was ever a talented enough in the sake of, like Phillip Rivers, when he left, he's a Hall of Famer. Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is.
But Derek Carr, is he a Hall of Famer?
No, heck no.
And that's what I'm saying. So you don't even hold him at the regard of
ever.
Like that Derek Carr was never as good as Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
And there's no possible way that he could come back now and even be close to being what Phillip Rivers was a couple of months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So you think Phillip Rivers now is better than Derek Carr now? Even though he's younger?
Probably.
Because you don't hold Derek Carr at high esteem, even though he played for your
because he doesn't have
New
the
Orleans
brain.
Saints.
He doesn't have the brain power and everything. It's sad because let me tell you, his older brother was so much older than him that he tutelaged him and taught him things without him having to go through the learning curve. So he learned at a younger age about how to do things the right way in order to get to the pros, and that helped him get to the pros.
Well, David Carr was one of those guys that, like, he had all the intangibles, but it just never was. It never worked. It never planned. It just never worked out. He was supposed to be, and he went to Houston, and he was
first
sacked
pick of the first round.
First pick from out of Fresno State, and he just would get sacked and sacked. I think he was the most sacked quarterback for like 5 years in a row. And it was like he was breaking records on being sacked.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the Bengals. It reminds me exactly what they did to Joe Burrow with how they cannot, for whatever reason, they cannot get a blocking offensive line.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I will say this. I was in a mall in Charlotte, North Carolina one time. And I was walking through the mall, and I just gotten there, and I was walking through the door of the opening of the mall at Concord Mills Mall over there in North Carolina. And I look over, and it's David Carr.
Oh, wow.
And he's actually the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers at the time. And he was just like walking right there beside me. And I was just like, I looked over, and I was like, wait a minute, that's Derek Carr. I said, hey, Derek, how you doing? I meant David. I said, hey, David, how you doing? He said, I'm good. And he shook my hand. Just a regular fan. Just nothing, no big deal. But just a very nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
And but you don't think he could come back either?
Oh, no. Absolutely not. He's so way gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was who Eli took his spot with the Giants.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know. I didn't realize he was with the Giants.
So Derek Carr should stay retired, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that's retired or that could come back to be able to play? that in your mind, you said Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
See, to me, he's too big. Yeah. He's one of those guys that just
not
once he was unable to break tackles, he was really not effective anymore.
I don't know. I have to go through a list of like the guys who have retired in the last 3 years, and then pick apart, which players could possibly come back. And I don't have any that are like just sticking out of my mind, and especially ones that have even won playoff games.
What about Tony Romo?
Oh God, no.
You didn't think he was that good anyway, right? He was a better golfer than he was a football
No.
player.
I mean, he was a good quarterback. I respect him more than Danny White.
Yeah. Is there a possibility that Kirk Cousins is going to go ahead and go on over back to the Minnesota Vikings and relive that again and take them to the playoffs?
Oh, goodness. Now that you say it, I guess there's a small possibility, sure.
Yeah, I think that's somebody, because I think all of those guys, when you think about Derek Carr, when you think about Kirk Cousins, when you think about Eli, do you think Eli's a Hall of Famer even though he won 2 Super Bowls?
He's right on the cusp. I think eventually he will get in.
Yeah, he will. Either way, we had a great show today. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. We will be going live tonight. Gonna go to Arnold versus South Walton baseball. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. See you tomorrow, guys.
Go home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The last time Florida and South Carolina played, it was a blowout. The Gators won 95-48, and the rematch is tonight.